So many of you drum producers or like beginners are actually like trying to start getting to get a good mastering, and you're not getting something that is actually good, it's actually being distorting, or you have problems with clipping. This is a video that will give you a lot of tips, and I hope you like it. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So this is my remix for Ed 1 Still Breathing. It's the mids down only, no mastering yet. As you can see, I have all the master chain there. I'll just give you a play of the track and check out for yourself. Okay, so as you can see, the drop is okay, it's good, it's powerful. The breakdown is good. The mids down, it's pretty decent. So let's just master it. Now, the first thing I want to add is a compressor. I like to use the glue compressor. I'm not saying like this is the best compressor there is, but it's actually pretty good. It does the job that I want. I compress 1 or 2 decibels, maximum 3 decibels. You don't want to over compress, otherwise you're like messed up your track. I'm gonna show you the difference with and without the compression. Oh, one more tip: you always start mastering from the drop, never from the breakdown. Okay, so as you can see, it's actually making the sound tighter and more together. And actually, I noticed that it brings the leads a little bit more out of the speakers, so it's actually pretty good. You don't have to copy the same settings here. Every song has a different setting because not all the songs sound the same way. So some of them might have a lower or a really low or a higher attack, and other ones will have a shorter release or a higher release. I actually like to leave it in automatic because the compressor decides by itself, and I like to leave it in attack by 10. So next one, it's a EQ. I like this EQ a lot. I use it in all my mastering chains. I just add a little bit of the lows and more high end. I give it a boost. Bandwidth. This could be actually like a ratio. I think it's a ratio because I always use it. I don't use it like a 10. I use it at around 2 or 3, and I don't use it around 4 because it's just like I don't feel that it sounds good. Then the attenuation cell is just like 10 normal, 2 of boost on the high end, 3 of boost on the lows. Here's the difference with and without it. So next we have the Master EQ 432. It's one of my best EQ plugins, I think, for me, mostly for the mastering, because I can choose the frequency that I want to boost, and I actually can separate each band and boost differently. And I boost 1 dB on the lows, on the mids, and on the high end. And here I boost 0.5 dB on the low end, and then 1 decibel on the high end. I'll show you the difference with and without it. Then we have the Millennia SQ2. It's another one of my favorites. It's very vintage, and it's actually pretty good. Here's with and without it. That just adds like a lot of low end. Okay, so next one we have Alessia Moss EQ Master. You don't actually have to put much EQs, but because I like it, I like to do this. I do it, but you don't really have to EQ a lot. You can only like do it with 1 or 2 EQs. You don't need like 4 EQs like I have in here. It works well with 2, so don't rush, guys. So next, after the EQs, I have the Ozone 5. What I use here is mostly the stereo imaging, the pulse equalizer, the harmonic decider, and the reverb. Reverb, yeah, you might be asking why reverb. Just add some atmosphere to the track. You don't add like that much of a reverb. You add like 100% dry mix and only 5% is wet, and it's actually very low in volume, so you can not really hear it or take a difference. The stereo imaging is for making the low end completely mono. You don't want the stereo to have a lot of low end, so you make it mono. The mids can be a stereo, the high can be stereo, the really high end can be stereo too. But this track sounds good on itself. I'll show you the differences with and without it. So as you can see, it makes the sound a little bit more wider and cleaner. I use this pulse equalizer to cut around 18,000 Hz. You don't have to cut exactly at 18,000 Hz. You can cut it at 20,000 Hz or 16,000 Hz or whatever you want to cut. But just make sure it sounds good and that you didn't cut much of the high end. Here I cut around 25 Hz to get rid of that really low that we don't need. I took out a little bit here on around 1146 Hz because it was actually getting a bit annoying there. Too many frequencies were going on there, so I just had to reduce that thanks to the harmonic decider. Then the harmonic decider is just to add some excitement, some saturation in a control level, because you can see I use the dry and wet knob, so I used to move it all to the left if I want to be 0% harmonic decider, and now to the right 200% harmonic decider. So I literally just did like go all the way back here and then take everything down, and then I slowly add the harmonic decider. In here I just add the reverb. Like I cut the lows because you don't want the reverb to have the low. It will mighty up your track, and same with the highs, it will fight with the leads. Next plugin is the BX Digital version 2. I like this plugin a lot because it actually lets me cut around 150 Hz here and even more on the stereo section and the mono section, and I can EQ them differently. Like here I boost around 1 dB here in the high end of the mono section, and then on the high section too of the stereo. And I cut the lows on the stereo, but I leave it on the mono, because mono is gonna have the kick, the bass lines, and the sub. So all that is low, like low frequencies, is gonna be there. And then we have the mids and the high too. But those mids and highs on the mono are not gonna be so defined. So that's why we have a stereo. A stereo would just like complete the sound. It will just like makes it even better. You can only hear on the stereo most of the highs and mids, and in the mono most of the lows and the mids and the highs. Next plugin we have a Transient SPL Transient Designer. This is used to add more punch to your track, because without compression and all those processing with it might lose some punch. So to make that kick cut through, we just add an attacker, a Transient Designer. I add attack here and sustain and it just gives more punch to the track. Here's the difference with and without it. So this is where the final stage is on the limiting. So I use two limiters, the Pro Q and the AOM invisible limiter. Those are two of my favorite EQs because one does not limit like so much. A FF filter does not limit so much in volume, but this one actually, like, once you're actually done with this, like, you find a good spot for your gain to be at without distorting, and still it's loud and it's clean. I put this after it because order matters here. Order matters. I put the limiter here, the AOM, and I give it a boost here to add that final volume. So here is with and without the final limiting. So as you can see, it makes the track loud, clean. The kick is cutting through. I hear the leads and the bass lines. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Please give it a like.